All right, here's another first read. So in this series of videos, I don't know if anybody's ever going to watch them. Partially just for me to go through and read some stuff. I'm reading pieces from the Poetry Foundation. It could be from anywhere though, and just give them a first read. Something maybe I've heard of the poet, maybe not, but a poem I haven't read before, and just walk into it. So Evie, Shockley. So I have read a few of her pieces and know her name. For it's thrown around quite a bit in the poetry world. I haven't read a whole lot, so I'm just going to read this one. Pantoum. I love pantoums. The kind of repetition they build in. They're good for like certain topics. If you don't know pantoums, they're repeating forms. The lines interweave from the stanzas. So literally lines 2 and 4 become lines 1 and 3 of the next stanzas. It's pretty straightforward form. So I'm just going to read through this. Like I said, I haven't read through these, so it's just going to go Pantoum Landing, 1976. I'm not sure what to make of the title right off the bat. I'm like, landing? Is this a moon landing? I'm not really sure. So let's go forward. 1976. Dreaming the lives of the ancestors. You awake justly terrified of this world. Well, yeah, I could see that pretty clearly. If you're black in the U.S. and you're dreaming the life of your ancestors, man, yeah, you'd be terrified. Or if you're dreaming back even longer, if this is like a mythic dreaming to ancestors in the period of slavery, I could see that as a complete terror of having to live in the world. You could dance underwater and not get wet. So I recognize this line, and from where, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, it sounds like a song to me, but I don't remember. If those of you who are more song-oriented probably pop up right away. I think the concept is pretty clear, though, that you're living in a world, you're dancing in a world that's dangerous to you, that's not for you, that's against you, and you're still doing it and getting by, not getting wet. You hear, but the pressure is drowning you. You hear, this is playing off of the song from the last line, what you hear, where you hear the dream of the ancestors, but the pressure is drowning you. The pressure of living in this terrified world is still drowning you, as it would anybody living in this. You're awake, but just terrified of this world. This is that, second line repeating again. The repetition really works well here of the terror. Repeating again, this is a great sense of the pantoum in this one. Where all solids are ice. Underwater boogie, there's a song again. I'm sure there's a reference that's jumping out to some of you that I'm not getting right off the bat, that I have to look up. If I were actually going to teach this, the benefit of teaching, you can look up all this stuff beforehand and sound brilliant when you do it. But here, where all solids are ice, you hear, but the pressure is drowning you. There's a repeat, right, of that line, but pressure is split. I love the split here, right, on the S's. Adding an extra S, of course. Press, sure, is drowning you, like the press of the crowd. I think of this with where the word press came from, was this group of people pushing down on you, drowning you. The Igbo, we're walking, not dancing. The Igbo, of course, I recognize, the Igbo clearly centered around Nigeria, if my memory serves me correctly. We're walking, not dancing. I'm wondering if the Igbo, or this is reference to Igbo here in the U.S., or if this were the Igbo in Africa, and what this means exactly. We're walking, not dancing. The dancing, maybe not dancing because the pressure of being pushed down in front of a terror. Where all solids are ice, underwater boogie. This is kind of playing on that you can dance underwater idea, which is kind of neat. This still boogie, this creation of this beautiful dance in a terror situation where you're surrounded by terror is good advice, because they're quick to melt. The Igbo were straight up and walking, not dancing. And you've got to get through this life. It's this got to get. It's this play at the end of the G sound, and you have to get through this life. Yes, you do. Terror or not, one way or not, creating art out of it is one way to do it, creating something beautiful, and also kind of dreaming into that world of your ancestors to see how that influences you and your own creation of with the art. I feel like this poem itself is a not getting wet in the violence that surrounds black people, especially I think if we're in a period of special upheaval with our crazy ass fucking president, and our the protest and the police violence. It's definitely terror surrounding it. Still not sure what to do with the title. I'd probably have to look that up. If I were going to teach this or going to write about it or something, I would. The pantoum form definitely works with this, and it makes me want to go read a lot more of this poet's work, because it's very, there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. These repeating phrases, you, it's talking to like a second person here. Very interesting piece.